I'm Kelly Kerr, and this is Kelly Kerr's Condo Corner. I've been busy all day trying to move all of my stuff into my second bedroom so I can do this easier. So I don't have any script. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my background so you'll find out how I got where I am now. My mother eventually became a property manager. My father eventually got his PhD in law, but they were divorced when I was 4. So my first job I had, I was 3 years old, and I found rocks and sold them to the next door neighbors, and they gave me a nickel for any time I found a rock. Of course, now I realize they were really their rocks. But so that was my first job. Then when I was 7, I leased my first apartment to someone, and also had to pick up all the trash and cigarette butts around the pool and all that. For that, my salary was 0. And then, for whatever reason, my grandmother got me a lawnmower. I never asked for a lawnmower. I didn't want a lawnmower, but I got a lawnmower, so I went into the lawn mowing business. And I had my first heat stroke from mowing, because we lived on a corner lot and I was mowing the neighbors too. So anyway, then of course by the time I was 12, I was a babysitter. Most girls my age back then would babysit different kids at different times. So that was fun. I remember one time watching a movie, The Babysitter. It was about a babysitter where he was in the house, and I was actually babysitting watching the movie. So then I got my first real job with my Social Security number at Sonic Drive-In at 14 years old. I was a car hop. I spilled a chocolate shake all over my first customer because I was so nervous. And the other girls that worked there were older than me, and they were mean, and I got upset one day and left, and I fell off my bike and got my first black eye, so that wasn't any fun. So after that, my summer jobs usually was with me working at a restaurant. However, when I was 15, my mom hired me to clean vacant apartments for minimum wage. And if I left one speck on an oven or something, she'd make me go back and clean it. Then she paid me $20 per apartment to paint the whole thing. I think she kind of ripped me off on that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But anyway, as I went into the professional world, I was a professional photographer, and I worked at a photo shop, and they had a contest to see who could develop a negative that was damaged in the best in the entire district. And I won that award, and so they offered me $1 an hour raise or so, and I turned them down because that wasn't enough money to live on. So I went and became a leasing agent for $5.25 an hour. That was better than what the camera place was paying, even though I enjoyed the job. So then I got 20% off on an apartment. So I moved in there, and all I had was 2 chairs, a crate, and a black and white television. But when people move out and they leave stuff behind, you know, I got my first sofa from somebody leaving that behind. Same with a lot of my stuff. That's why I don't really like to go to garage sales or anything like that anymore, because I've had so much of it. So again, I worked as, you know, in the restaurant business a lot too. So I came from a customer service background. So as a leasing agent there, unfortunately, the manager was a drunk, and she came home after work, after lunch, she would come in just completely drunk every day. And the assistant manager was getting married, and so I was doing her job basically because all she could think or talk about was her impending marriage. So when she gave her notice to leave, they didn't promote me. So I went and got a job somewhere else and became an assistant manager. And then I was working in a part of town that eventually became the projects. And that's where I became a manager first, was in the projects. I worked there about 3 years, and I figured if I could be a manager in the projects, I could do anything. And so hopefully that still holds true today. So I managed apartments for about 20 years or so. And then after that, I went and got my license to manage condominiums and homeowners associations and mobile home parks and timeshares and all that jazz. So that job is a lot harder, but it's also a lot more interesting. There's always drama. And I didn't want to be a property manager when I grew up. I wanted to be so many different things, but I get to be almost everything I wanted to be. With apartments, I loved marketing, so I got to do that. I wanted to work with computers, so obviously we all do that. I wanted to be a photographer. It's important to do that if you're a property manager. You know, you got to know about all kinds of things. You want to be a psychiatrist? Well, be a property manager, because they'll definitely tell you all their problems. Especially where I am, there's a lot more senior citizens, which is great because I work well with them. I'm patient and calm and listen to their stories. And even though it may take a little longer, at least I feel like I helped someone. So that's about it for today, folks. I've only got, I think, 45 or 46 subscribers. So if you could subscribe, it would mean the world to me. I would really appreciate it. Maybe I could get better equipment and do some better stuff. And I'll certainly be learning how to edit these videos very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.